Boom shakalaka. Some people think Bitcoin's already found the bottom. Other people think Bitcoin's going down to 23,000 or 20,000 or 12,000 or $7,000. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most well-known Bitcoin charts and determining exactly what's going on with Bitcoin. Plus, if you stay tuned until the end, we have an interview with Alex Mashinsky, who's going to give us an insight into what's really going on behind the scenes. You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're taking a look at what's really going on with Bitcoin. If we take a look at the most well-known charts, the charts that people have looked at for a long time and determine what's going on with Bitcoin, plus at the end, we have a great interview with Alex Mashinsky where he's going to be sharing a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes that doesn't get reported on in the news. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Come join us over on Twitter at @TheCryptoLove, where every day we share some of the best charts in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Let's try and get to 1,000 likes. Push the like button. Now today, in extreme fear, no surprise, we've been extreme fear forever. The overall market down a little over 1% today. Bitcoin at 29,682, Ethereum at 1923, BNB at 321, XRP 39 cents, Cardano 50 cents, Solana $46, and Dogecoin 8 cents. And if we take a look at Bitcoin right now, hovering right above the line in the sand for when I turn bearish on Bitcoin. But I'll be honest with you, right now it looks like Bitcoin has a bit of a downtrend. Now in yesterday's video, there are a couple indicators that we might have a little bit of a local bottom, but on a more long-term thing, especially if we're heading into a recession, I might be heading more towards bear territory. However, that being said, where we are right now, we're sitting right above right around $30,000. If we break below this red line, then we have a gigantic double top up here. And based on TA, there's a 97% chance it'll drop down to levels I don't even want to talk about right now. But let's take a look at some of these charts to determine exactly what's going on with Bitcoin. If we take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Now, all these charts are from lookintobitcoin.com. So if you want, you can follow along there. Check out the charts for yourself. This is the Fear and Greed Index. We can see right now for a long time, for about a month or so, we've been hovering in this extreme fear territory, like just barely in double digits. And if we go back, well, the last time we were in this territory wasn't last summer when we had the bottom back then. As a matter of fact, the last time we were in this territory was the COVID bottom back in March of 2020. And then before that, guess what? We really only saw these numbers for a very short time at the very, very bottom in 2018. So that being said, this isn't territory that Bitcoin gets into very, very often. If we take a look at the stock to flow model and we take a look, we're in this like teal color right now. Now the previous times we've been in this teal color, guess what happened with Bitcoin price? It went down after that. Might have to consider that Bitcoin price might go down before it comes back up. But if we take a look at this right down here, this is the time above the stock to flow model and the time below the stock to flow model. We've been below the stock to flow model for a very long time. I would say there's really only two other times when we've been this far below, and this was basically from 2015 until 2017 when we saw such low levels below the stock to flow model. Now granted, during those times, Bitcoin price went up dramatically, so this could actually be a good indicator. Now the Pi Cycle top indicator, I like this one because this one calls the tops every time, like literally every time. It's a great indicator. But a couple other things worth noting, that this green line here, well, when this has kind of a flattening of the slope, a change in directions, it's before the bottom. But this orange line, when it has a flattening of the slope, it's after the bottom. Now this happened both right here in 2015 and also here in 2018. So we can see we've already had a flattening of the green line, which would tell us this is before the bottom. The orange line, though, looks like it's getting flatter. We haven't had a flattening of that yet. So I would say, based on this, we could potentially be nearish the bottom, which brings us to the golden ratio multiplier. All this tells us is right now is an amazing buy opportunity if you've ever considered investing in Bitcoin, because right now it is below every single one of these golden multipliers. The only times it has been that low, the COVID bottom, the absolute bottom in 2018, and the absolute bottom in 2015, and the absolute bottom in 2011. So based on that, now would be an amazing time to buy Bitcoin at a discount. This is echoed by the Bitcoin Rainbow Price Chart Indicator, which right now is signaling accumulate. Now it does go all the way down to the Screaming Fire sale, which is roughly around $15,000, prices that we only saw during the COVID bottom and maybe in the 2018 bottom and definitely in this 2016 bottom right here. But this is still buy territory for Bitcoin. So while it may hurt with the price going down, you have to think long term. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is an invest, think 5, 10, 15 years in the future. You could do very, very well. Which brings us to the Bitcoin profitable days. Basically, had you have bought Bitcoin before 2021, you would still be in profit. If you bought any time between 2021 and now, guess what? You're not in profit. But the percent profitable days holding Bitcoin, 88.3%. That's pretty good. So that just means that the longer you hold it, the better a chance you have of being in profit with Bitcoin. Which brings us to the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curves. Now this one as well, as we can see, the only time it's actually been below this log growth curve was the COVID bottom. Now you would have been buying Bitcoin at $5,000 before it went up to $60,000 for 12x. Had you have been able to do that, could you have bought $50,000 or Bitcoin at $5,000 and sold it at $60,000? Would you do that? Most likely. Well, based on this, you have the same opportunity right now because while the price is low, there's a good chance that eventually it'll come back up. This is one of my favorite things, the Bitcoin Investor Tool, the 2-year MA multiplier. If you just follow this, you make, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades in your lifetime, you would be doing phenomenal. And not in your lifetime, in the lifetime of Bitcoin, or if you're 13 years old in the history of your lifetime. But basically, if you sell when it's above this red line and buy when it's below this green line, you do amazing. You literally sell the top and buy the bottom every time. Take a look where we are right now, below the green line, the bottom, buying the bottom. You may not buy the exact bottom based on this 2-year MA multiplier. You would be buying the bottom. Amazing buy signal from that one. And lastly, we'll take a look at the 200-week moving average heat map. You can see here that based on where we are right now, well, based on previously, when it gets to blue, guess what? Blue tends to last for a while. So we may still have another year or so of this blue where it follows this moving average down here on the bottom. We may not have great things coming up for a while, but guys, you have to remember to think long-term with stuff like the Investor 2-year MA multiplier. Amazing buy opportunities for Bitcoin, and definitely with the halving coming up in 2 years or less, well, that could send the price up quite dramatically. So that's all for today's episode. Make sure to stay tuned for the interview with Alex Mashinsky from Celsius. It's amazing. He's going to share some great stuff about what's going on behind the scenes. And after having this interview, I'm quite optimistic about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. Maybe not in the short or medium term, but definitely in the long term. Thank you all for watching. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for this interview. All right, Alex, welcome back to the channel. It is a pleasure to have you, the man behind Voice over IP and the man behind Celsius Money over IP. What's going on?
Hey, Randall, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. We were just chatting. It's been a while since you've been on the channel, so happy to have you back. Now, there's a lot going on with Celsius. I mean, we've been talking about stuff on the channel, like you can borrow starting at 0.1% APR, like you can earn up to 70% APY. What right now has you most excited about Celsius?
Well, we've added more services and utilities this year than in the past 2 years, right? So first, we have on-ramps in over 40 states in the United States. We have swaps with no fees. So you basically get institutional grade quotes for anybody, right? It doesn't matter if you're doing $5 or $5 million, you get the best quotes. And many industry reviews have shown that you get more coins and you end up with more coins than if you use Coinbase Pro, or if you use FTX or any of the kind of traditional exchanges. And you do that in the app. There's no gas fees. There's nothing, right? So that's in. We're launching a credit card in July. So if you want to join, right now there's a waiting list with about 50,000 people, but we're going to ship it quick. So go to our website, celsius.network, and join the list. And that's a card that pays you cash back not cash, but pays you in crypto that goes straight to your Celsius wallet and starts earning yield or staking rewards. So it's an amazing service that's not available from almost anybody. And on top of it, again, like you said, cheap loans, the highest rates on yield, and you get a really, really good wallet for free, right? So if you just need custody, now we also have custody service, and you can just do custody with no rehypothecation, no yield, no nothing. So it's just a safe way to hodl your coins.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I've used this swap myself, and I was actually amazed how quick and easy it did work. I also noticed that you guys just recently added a customer service hotline. So I think that's a really cool feature that can help people, because it stinks just emailing back and forth and, never getting anywhere. So that's a really nice feature.
1-866 huddle now. So it's a great number too. So easy to remember, and you can actually talk to someone. You don't have to call us only when you have an issue or you have a question. You can call us to talk. If you want to know what the best Netflix movie to watch this week, call 1-866 huddle now. We'll just have a conversation with you. The Celsian community is amazing. We see them all the time. I travel all over the world. We do meetups and events, and they're just phenomenal. So just call us and hang out with the Celsians.
Awesome. So I've seen you on doing a number of interviews and AMAs recently. What questions specifically have you been getting asked a lot, or what things from that do you really think people should know?
So I think people are concerned about they hear all these news hitting them from all directions, and they have a hard time understanding how all the pieces tie together, and they don't understand, okay, why is Bitcoin going down so much? Why is the stock market so volatile? What's happening with the bond market? Why is the VIX higher? How do all these things tie together? And so I try to really help people simplify and tie all this stuff together, because I think it's important for people to understand that this is a chain reaction. It's not just a million different events happening on their own. And really, again, the crypto market is watching the stock market, right? The stock market is watching the Fed, and the Fed is watching inflation. Normally, the Fed jumps in and catches the falling knife, like they did in 2020, or they did in 2008, or they did in 2000, and they save the day, and everybody just goes back to normal, and we start this growth, and we start a new cycle. Here, basically, they're saying, hold on, guys, okay, until we see that the inflation numbers are much lower, right? We're not going to catch the falling knife. We're not going to come and save the stock market. So that's what got so many people concerned, because they're saying, oh my God, we don't know how long it's going to take to fix inflation. I'm out. I'm just selling everything I have. So we went through this deleveraging process where a lot of people basically sold their high-tech stocks. They sold some of their Bitcoin. They sold all kind of alts. But all of that is already priced in, right? And the Fed hiking rates 8 times, and the Fed doing quantitative tightening, QT versus QE, right? So all that is already priced in. But what we do need to see is we need to see another 1 or 2 interest rate, not interest rate, but inflation number reductions. We had one, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? Which was, we went from 8.5% inflation to 8.3. So it's a small reduction. We need to see a bigger reduction. We need to get into the 7s and then the 6s to get the Fed comfortable that, okay, this inflation is out of control. Now let's turn around and calm the markets. Tell them, okay, I don't need to do 8 hikes. I'm only going to do 5 hikes. Okay, I don't need to do this much QT. I'm going to do half of the QT. And the minute that happens, the market's going to rip, because it's like a spring. We've had 6 months of pressing more and more and more bad news on the spring, and the spring is wound up. It's dying to jump up, and we just need to let it rip. The Fed can pull out the weight and let the spring shoot up. And if you miss that, you're going to miss all of the rewards. You're going to miss the jump back in prices in the stock market and crypto. And as we know, crypto goes first, right? And it happens in 2 or 3 days. You miss those 2 or 3 days because you're on vacation or you're busy with the family. You're never going to catch up.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's definitely. I remember there was this something that was presented in Tony Robbins' book on money, where he was saying if you miss like the 5 best days in the market, it's almost as if you lose all your gains Totally. So with cryptocurrency, because it's very volatile, you just never know when those are going to happen.
Exactly, and so it's very difficult to be a market timer in crypto, and with all the you do great technical analysis, and it helps people understand what and how and where. But most people, I would say 99% of the people, are not good at trading or not good at timing. And that's why people have to decide, do I have enough exposure, not enough exposure, and just use those downturns to actually average in and basically just hodl on, right? And it's not easy to do that, but that's what proven to work over the last 13 years since Bitcoin was born.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you there. I totally consider myself to have the investor mindset. So like 10 plus year outlook, and definitely with hodling on Celsius, getting the rewards every Monday definitely helps with that, because even when the market's going sideways or turning down, you can still see those rewards coming in every Monday.
Yeah, and that definitely helps you get through the bear market. Like you said, everybody calls me now. It's a bear market. They're like, "Oh, let's call Mashinsky, see what he has to say about this." And now people are paying much more attention to the rewards, because when the markets are great and everything is flying high, people look at the few percentage points of yield and they're saying, that's not a big deal. My coins are up 200%. But when your coins are down 40 or 50%, getting a few percentage points that kind of lift you up every week, every Monday, is what really helps people hodl on and get through the tough times.
Mm-hmm. So anything else you've been asked a lot that really stands out?
So I do have a book coming out. I'm writing a book about all of these cycles and the different things, the Web3 and Web2 and all of this craziness that we're going through. So that's coming up as well. And a lot of interviews are about crypto versus TradFi, traditional finance. And really, is this time all of TradFi going to stay, or they're going to do the same thing they did in 2017, where they showed up, and the minute the bear market showed up, they're like, okay, that's it. We don't have to worry about these guys, So a lot of questions about that as well, and because we do need to have much broader markets, but at the same time, like if you look at what happened to Luna and other things. Swimming with the sharks of Wall Street is not always a good thing, right? So you gotta be careful as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think we covered a lot of different stuff. We covered the borrowing, credit cards coming soon. You got a book coming out, which I'm excited about. I love reading, so that'll be awesome. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to discuss today, or?
Well, we have I think the best promo in the industry, right? So I think it's you get $50 for just trying Celsius. So I think you're gonna give it to your viewers, right? You're gonna give them a special
down in the description. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So look, it's a risk-free offer. You just try it for 30 days. You don't like it, take all your money out, and you made $50 on Celsius, right? So we think we have the best services in the industry. They now cover everything: on ramps, off ramps, stakings. Swaps, credit cards, right? Yield, loans, everything you need in one place. We call it your home for crypto. And if you're not happy, reach out to me, CEO@Celsius.network. I want to hear about which one of these things is not best of breed in the entire industry.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come join us today. It's been a pleasure. I think we learned a lot about the interconnection of everything, and I am definitely stoked for that book. So I can't wait for it to come out. Thank you again for joining.
Thanks, Randall, and I want to thank you for what you're doing, right? Because putting up a video almost every day, right? Educating the community, being there, explaining to people. When people understand what's happening, they're much calmer, right? When they don't understand, they freak out, right? So I really definitely want to thank you for your contribution to the crypto clan.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.